Hi, my name is Stephanie Vecchio, and welcome to this week's episode of History Bites. It's spooky season, which means Halloween is just about here. We prep our candy bowls, decide on costumes, and make sure our decorations are hung just so, but there is a deeper, more otherworldly history to the traditions behind Halloween. Ultimately, an amalgamation of ancestral history and stories spun into folklore and adapted by Americans in our typical American fashion of fun and excitement. You can thank the Irish for the chosen date of October 31st. Well, mostly. Our modern-day version of Halloween can ultimately be traced back to the Gaelic festival called Samhain, which has several reported meanings, but is ultimately tied to the concept of the end of summer. It was, and still is, celebrated starting the evening of October 31st through all of November 1st, and is considered the start of winter. It is just one of 4 Gaelic festivals to celebrate and welcome in the new seasons, or quarter days, on the traditional Irish calendar. With these and other celebrations come old traditions that have been passed down, turned into stories, and traveled from country to country. For roughly 2 millennia, Samhain, the night of October 31st, has marked the turn from summer to winter on the Irish calendar. However, the customs and festivities said to surround this late fall event have very little concrete written evidence, as they are ancient events. Instead, there are oral stories passed down from generation to generation, whose origins certainly were real once upon a time, and whose rites and festivities still remain. Samhain is said to have started as a way to commune with the dead, to open an otherworldly portal, what in Irish was known as the She, to connect with loved ones who have passed. Unlike Halloween as we know it, there is no inherent spookiness or horror surrounding Samhain. Instead, the opposite is true. It is a celebratory, often joyous festival, though sometimes these same portals could potentially hold unwanted spirits or entities. As early as the 9th century, Irish literature says that there were great gatherings and feasts, and some literature associates Samhain with bonfires. Communities would leave a bonfire burning while they feasted, danced, and told stories of death and renewal. This is a practice that is still done in modern times, both in Ireland and throughout the Western world. Irish literature also mentions the Celts wearing masks and costumes to disguise themselves or scare away malevolent spirits believed to have been set free from the realm of the dead, the otherworldly portal, looking to play tricks on humans. These masks and costumes were known as mumming or guising, particularly in modern day. While certainly not the only culture or community to wear masks to ward off spirits, the Irish certainly influenced the Halloween tradition of wearing costumes. Many tales have been written on Samhain and its association with spirits, whether good or bad. One tale, The Adventure of Nera, warned that if you went out on October 31st, you might meet dead men or warriors from the She, or even mistakenly wander into the otherworld itself. It might sound scary, but the Irish pagan otherworld was not like the Western religion's concept of hell as we understand it. It was a place of beauty where mortals could mingle with otherworldly entities, for example, fairies. And in the story of The Adventure of Nera, he wanders into the otherworld and remains, marrying a woman, a banshee, or a fairy woman, an important figure in Irish mythology, and ultimately living happily ever after. Even through the emergence of Christianity within Ireland, Samhain continued to be celebrated, though soon the pagan rituals would be merged with the concept of All Souls' Day and other Christian traditions, and Christian saints were included in the welcoming of the dead. As the centuries passed, some stories, like the concept of the otherworld, were turned into the more Catholic idea of purgatory or limbo. Still, the Samhain celebrations continued, with games and different foods added as time went on. In the 1800s, historians began to document games like bobbing for apples. In one version, a woman tries to bite into an apple bearing her suitor's name. If she bites it on the first try, she is destined for love. 2 tries meant her romance will start but won't last, and a 3rd try means the love will never get started. This fun tradition, though different now, still remains. So how did Samhain make its way to the United States, where the concept of Halloween exploded? It, of course, is connected to the mass immigration of Irish and Scottish immigrants in the 19th century. As the Irish fled a famine-stricken Ireland, they brought with them a multitude of traditions shaped over centuries. Samhain and the Christian All Hallows Eve and All Saints' Day were 2 of these traditions, including having masked children and sometimes even adults going from house to house asking for treats to ward off spirits. Apple bobbing and even pumpkin carving took place as well. Modern Halloween's connection to Samhain and Irish pagan folklore is still strong. These pagan traditions lend themselves to a desire for rituals, community, and even connectedness, still seen in our Western modern Halloween, where communities do actually come together to welcome one another to their homes. Thank you for watching this episode of History Bites. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and like and follow us on social media. Happy Halloween!